Morning, everyone. How are you? All right, I'm just going to open up the chat bar. Let me know that you can see me and hear me. I cannot see you or actually hear you. So you have to let me know that you're here, and we'll go ahead and get started. I'm just going to grab some stuff. 1 second. All right, so just let me know. Good morning, Nicole. I'm going to sit scary close for a couple minutes. Awesome. So let me just see who's here. Hi, Diane. Good morning, Krista. Mary, I'm so proud of you, and you brought your daughter. Good morning, Ricky. Okay, so let's talk about today. I have not choreographed a whole lot of today's class. I thought I would just follow the lead of how it feels. The intention today is to be heart nurturing. Initially, I thought that we would do a heart opening, but I don't know if you're like me. I feel like although my heart needs opening, I also feel like it needs nurturing. So my intention all the time, not my intention, but what I'm drawn to do a lot of the times right now is to actually just place my hand over my heart a lot. It feels good to have that pressure on it. So today I want you to meet the class where you are at. I will always say that, but I just want to remind you of that. And because we're teaching in this awkward space of what was my dining room, and you'll see I tried to fix some of my light issues. So you can let me know. I flipped everything around. So you're looking into the back of my couch in my kitchen. Regardless, I will do my best to lead the class today. And I just want you to show up as you are for yourself and listen to your own body cues. So the only way we get hurt in yoga is when we start listening to the outside voice, perhaps the voice that's coming from me or our egoic voices, as opposed to checking in with what we need inside. So today, I just want to make sure that you are tuning into what you need and adapting the class. I will teach to, for lack of a better term, I'll say level 1. You might be in the class and going, this isn't a level 1. Well, that's the thing. It's such an arbitrary concept. So the point is, I'm going to teach to a level that I think it's very easy if you want to bump it up with more intensity, more expansion, more strength. For those who do yoga on a regular basis, you know exactly how to do that. So you don't need to wait for my cues. At the same time, I'm going to be trying to give you a lot of other cues, modifications, ways in which you can support yourself and do the class that you need to do today. A couple things right up front. Most of us don't have yoga blocks per se, but if you have something that you can use that's going to bring the ground towards you, it's fantastic. So 2 equal sized books works. Also, you could have 2 tin cans. I'm sure you have some tin cans around right now, but the intention is really just to bring the ground up to you so that your back body gets some expansion. And if you get the chance in the future when we can actually go out and shop again, I just love cork blocks. Some people like foam. I like cork because it has density. Foam, it doesn't give like foam does, but yet it's still soft enough that if you're using it for heart expansion and opening, it actually feels nice and soft. If you know that you're particularly tight in your back body, then having something that's going to bring your foot towards you is fantastic. So a strap, a yoga strap's not necessary. You could use a housecoat tie or a long belt, anything that looks like a strap. The third thing I'm going to say is instead of a bolster, I think having a nice blanket is great. And I'm going to give you the option today to start on your back in your yoga pose, on your back in Shavasana. And I'm going to recommend that you roll up, just take a blanket, put it into a square, and then roll it up. This is not a full-size blanket. It's kind of like a throw. So when I roll it up, it isn't particularly large. And what it's going to allow me to do is I'm going to lie on my back vertically in line with my spine. It has tons of give. You could also use a bath towel, and then you can lay back over it, opening up your heart. So as I blah, blah, blah away, feel free to walk over and get on your mat and just start that. The other thing that I recommend a blanket for is to use it as a bit of elevation. Sitting on the edge of your blanket allows your pelvis to tilt forward when you're stretching forward. So if you're the person that ends up like this a lot, which you'll see in a lot of my postures, I do that as well. The sitting on the edge of the blanket or a bolster allows your pelvis to flip forward, and that takes the pressure off your lower back. So it meets you where you are, so you can start to open up the elements of your body that you know are tight. Also nice to slip this under your knee when you're doing anything on your hands and knees if you have particularly sore knees, okay? So let's go ahead and start on your back with or without your your blanket, however you see fit. I'm not going to play music as always in this class today, but you're welcome to do it on your side. Good morning, Jan and Kelly. Kim and Krista, hello. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Lee. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Laura. Awesome. Natasha. Amazing. Okay, so I'm going to close the chat bar. If you have a question, I will notice it, and when I can come over, I will. Okay? All right, amazing. One second. Okay, let's take the first few minutes sinking back onto our backs. And if you're like me, you're going to roll up your throw or your bath towel, and you're going to place it between your shoulder blades from the bottom of your lumbar spine all the way up. So laying backwards on this, I have flexibility enough in the back of my neck to place my head back, but if not, you can use a book or a block to just rest back on your head. Release your ankles to either side of your yoga mat. Roll your toes open. Place your arms far from the sides of your body and spin open your shoulders with your palms to the ceiling. Close your eyes, taking in some deep breaths. In through your nose and out through your nose. And if you've placed your blanket or your towel underneath your back body, and now it feels uncomfortable, just give yourself what you need and reach back and remove it. And just lie back on your back without it. Continue to breathe in and out through your nose. And if you're just joining me now, settling onto your back body in your version of Shavasana. Taking 5 more cycles of breath. And when you're ready, bend your knees and draw both your knees up into your chest, squeezing your knees towards your armpits and lengthening your tailbone towards the back of your mat. Keeping your eyes closed, breathing deeply into the space between your knees. And when you're ready, letting your knees fall to the right, removing your blanket from behind your back or any props, and taking your time to press yourself back up into a nice seated posture. So we call this Sukhasana, or easy pose. And the truth of it is it's not super comfortable for everybody. So I want you to make it as comfortable as you can for yourself. So for me, not so much having my ankles like this, like in a typical, I'm in kindergarten cross-legged, but allowing your feet to take up individual positioning, one in front of the other. So it's almost like you're laying the sides of your ankles, if you have that flexibility, front to side, and then allowing your feet to spin open any amount. And if that's not comfortable for you, then I want you to use the edge of your blanket to sit on, to create that elevation that I was speaking about a few minutes ago, to let your hips and pelvis fall forward. Okay, and for other people, you might feel comfortable sitting on the edge of the block. I don't actually find that all that comfortable for me. So whatever position you're in, I want you to just relax your hands onto either one of your knees. Sit up nice and tall, closing your eyes, and release your chin to your chest, feeling the stretch all the way down the back of the neck. And when you get to the bottom, inhaling back up to neutral and exhaling chin to the sky. Closing your mouth, feeling the stretch all the way down the front of the throat. Inhale to neutral, exhale, forward flexing. And taking the time to go back and forth at your own pace. And as always, letting the motion be as large or as small as it feels comfortable. Inhaling to rise, exhaling to stretch forward or back. And keep going. If it feels comfortable, picking up the pace as you go. 2 more rounds. It's always great to start a morning practice being very deliberate about your neck, your shoulders, your wrists, your hips, and your ankles. Bringing your head back to neutral and just rotating your head to the right. Inhaling to neutral and over to the left. Back and forth. And if you're feeling any crunching or clicking, as long as it's not associated with pain, that's very much a normal noise to be hearing. We don't often do warm-up unless we're in our yoga practice. And it's really good for the spinal joints of your cervical spine to feel the range of motion from side to side. Coming back to neutral, releasing your right ear to your right shoulder, walking your right hand out to the right, and inhaling your left arm up and over top of your head. So bending your right elbow, stretching through your fingertips, option to turn your nose towards the ceiling, keeping your head in a line with your spine as best as possible. Inhaling back up to neutral, left hand down, left ear to the left shoulder. Inhale, your right hand up and over top of your head. Reaching through your fingertips, grounding into your right sitting bone, and going back and forth at your own pace. So allowing it to be dynamic, opening your shoulder up, moving your bent arm all the way through the range of motion, letting your rotator cuff know that you're going to be moving it in all sorts of directions. Back and forth. Coming back to neutral, placing both your hands on either one of your knees, cupping your knees with your palms, and starting to move your hips and torso in a clockwise direction. So you're going to tip your hips back, bring them all the way to the left, tip your hips forward, rib cage to the right, and all the way back. So it's a bit of a subtle motion, and I know I'm wearing a baggy shirt, but allowing your hips like a barrel to make, as best you can, a 360-degree motion. And pausing and reversing direction. So you're gonna have a little bit of motion in your upper body, but you're gonna do your best to kind of still your shoulders. But just feeling that articulation going in every direction as best you can. And on your next time when you come forward, just resting in normal posture, sitting up nice and tall, walking your fingertips out as far as you can go. At the same time, pressing back through both of your sits bones, reaching forward, pressing back. And once you've created as much length as you can, releasing your head between your biceps and pressing further through your fingertips even more and grounding your sits bones into the earth behind you. Breathing deeply into your back body. Using your breath to open up your shoulder blades. Allowing your head to come up and walking your fingertips over to the right-hand side, reaching a little bit further through your left fingertips and pressing back a little bit more deliberately on your left sitting bones. Releasing your head forward. Inhaling to wave up a bit. Exhaling to press back and down. Keep going. Inhaling and exhaling. 3 more. Small motion, very much conscious of what you're doing. 1 more, and hold. And walking it back to the center and going on over to your left-hand side. Reaching just a fraction a bit further with your right hand, pressing back through your right sits bones, releasing down. Inhaling to wave up, exhale to press back. Feeling the stretch all the way underneath your armpit. And everybody has a different body, of course. And so you need to adapt this to your body, which means your shoulders might be a little further apart. You might not be moving as much or at all, or you might be moving more. Walking your hands back to center and then bringing your hands all the way back. Walking your hands behind you, fingertips towards you, feet out in front, a little further than hip distance apart, and allowing your hips to just roll from side to side. So windshield wiping from side to side, letting your hip rise up as you go to each side. Now, of course, I didn't ask you to remember what shin was in front of the other, but you know there's always one that's more natural. So whatever is the least natural, for me it's my right one. No, it's not, I'm lying. Put my left one in front, sit up nice and tall, and starting to wave from side to side, going back and forth. And if you're there and you think, no, I actually already had this shin in front, just switch them out. Keep going. 1 more. Coming to neutral and allowing your body to go back into the barrel roll. So being really deliberate. Let your pelvis fall back, inch it over to the left, belly button going forward. So you're undulating your belly as you're going in a circle. So belly's nice and soft. Switch directions. One more. And coming up to neutral and walking your hands forward again. So reaching forward, pressing back, creating the length. Breathing deep in through your nose, widening all the way through your rib cage, and exhaling through your nose. This time starting by walking your hands off to the left, right hand goes a little further forward, waving up if that feels comfortable. Walking your hands back to neutral and walking them over to the opposite side. Reaching forward with your left hand and waving back and forth. Inhaling for length, exhaling to release. Walking your hands back, bringing your hands back up, and this time crossing over your knees and rolling onto tabletop position. If you have discomfort in your knees, opening up your blanket so that you have some cushioning underneath your knees. So this time I'm going to give you the option going into tabletop. So your wrists are underneath your shoulders, knees are directly underneath your hips, tucked or untucked in your feet, whatever's most comfortable. Now looking forward, you can do cat and cow on your hands and knees, or you can be like me and you can release down onto your forearms, clasping your hands in the front of your body like this. What I like about it is I tend to get more range of motion through my shoulder blades. So inhaling, releasing your pelvis, your belly button towards the ground, looking forward, broadening through your collarbone. Exhale, belly button to spine. Bringing your chin towards your chest, pressing into your forearms, arching through the upper back. Exhale, releasing your hips down. This time waving forward, looking forward any amount. Exhale, pressing into your knees, pressing into your forearms, separating your shoulder blades as best you can, and continuing to go back and forth. So inhaling into cow, exhaling into cat. Keep going at your own pace, really letting your belly drop down and really pressing into your forearms to arch through your shoulder blades, feeling the articulation of every one of your vertebrae. Two more. Coming back up onto your hands if you haven't already, and then coming back to sit on your heels. So opening up our toes and feeling like we have range of motion. If this is really uncomfortable for you, you can go ahead and you can flatten out your feet, but it's good practice to be able to increase our range of motion. So inhaling your arms up over top, looking up, making a steeple with your fingertips and side bending all the way to your right. So instead of flopping over to your right, pressing through your fingertips, creating length all the way to the right, inhaling to neutral, exhaling all the way to the left, feeling the stretch all the way down the right side body. Inhaling up to neutral, exhaling, bringing your hands, placing your hands behind you, palms together, looping your shoulder blades up, back, and down, and pressing back to your fingertips. Inhaling to create length. Exhaling, hinging at the hips, coming forward to put the crown of your head in rabbit, about 1/2 foot in front of you. Coming up onto your knees, rolling onto the crown of your head, an option to float your hands up and over top of your head. So if this is uncomfortable with your hands, simply having your hands shoulder distance apart and pressing them up towards the sky will work, or even like your hands are in back pocket, whatever works. Increasing your range of motion. 2 more breaths. Breathing deep. Exhale, coming back on, sitting all the way up. Inhaling your arms up and over top, look up, hands through heart center, and coming back onto your hands and knees. So coming back onto your hands and knees, setting up your hands and feet for downward facing dog. So placing your arms a little bit further apart, a little bit past shoulder height or shoulder distance apart. Fingers apart, wrist crease parallel with the front of your mat. Tuck your toes, press back, hinge back into downward facing dog. Taking the time to pedal out your feet, making sure your feet are hip distance apart. Heels do not need to come to the floor, and bending your knees just enough so that you can raise your pelvis up and have a nice inversion, one long line from your fingertips all the way to your sitting bones. Relax your head between your biceps. And pausing for a moment and releasing your right heel all the way to the mat, bending your left knee, straightening your right. Feeling the stretch all the way down the back of the right leg, and then turning, putting your left heel towards the mat, bending your right knee, and feeling the stretch. Bringing both your legs to stillness, bending your knees nice and juicy so you're coming back. Chest is going towards your knees, and then inhaling, floating forward on your toes, all the way up to your version of plank. Option to release to your knees. We're going to go back and forth. So pressing into your hands, lifting through the crown, pressing back through the heels, belly button to spine, hinging your hips backwards into downward facing dog. As soon as you get there, waving forward, coming onto your tippy toes, pressing forward, being strong through your arms and your legs, feeling the shake. Exhale, hinging your hips, bending your knees all the way back. Going back and forth for 3 more. Option to drop your knees in between if that's what's comfortable. And these small little bursts, they help to build your strength and start to feel more comfortable with time. And believe me, every time you do it, it's uncomfortable. Coming forward one last time, releasing your knees to the mat, untuck your toes, and lowering down in one long line. So releasing, putting your hands on stacked palms, right at the level of your forehead, bringing your feet to hip distance apart, and just releasing your forehead to the mat and taking a moment to rest. Continuing to breathe. Raising your head, placing your hands beside your head, coming into baby cobra, pressing down into the tops of your feet, pressing down into your pelvis and lifting your upper body with your muscles of your upper back, looking forward a few inches, an option to float your hands up. So being true to where you are, pressing down into your feet, lifting your kneecaps, and exhale all the way down. Inhale one more time, press down, lifting up, feeling the strength of your back body, and releasing down. Placing your hands next to your shoulders, tuck your toes, come through tabletop, and lifting back up into downward facing dog. Inhaling, coming forward, releasing your knees to the mat, coming all the way down in one long line, and being careful, if you already went down there, just taking a peek at me for a second, being careful when you're coming down a one long line that you're not dropping your shoulders and hanging out in the small ligaments and tendons of your shoulders, but making sure that you're drawing your belly button in, that you're putting pressure through your shoulders and you're resisting the movement all the way down. This time, option to stay at baby cobra with your hands beside your face or bringing your arms back beside your shoulders and coming into cobra. Inhale, pressing down into your feet and your pelvis and your hands and raising your body up. Coming up as high as you're comfortable. Exhale, wave down. Inhale, coming back up and all the way down. Inhale, back up. Releasing all the way back down. One more time, press through tabletop to downward facing dog. Inhale, coming all the way forward. Releasing your knees to the mat, coming all the way down one more time. Bringing your fingertips out to the side of your body, untented fingertips, elbows towards the ceiling. Inhaling, pressing down into your feet, waving up into rolling cobra. Presenting your chest to the front of your mat. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, waving up, head's the last to rise. Exhale all the way down. One more time, waving up and releasing down. Pressing down through hands and knees, coming back into downward facing dog, and then walking your hands back to meet your feet. Meeting in forward fold, feet are hip distance apart, holding on to opposite elbows, bending your knees, swaying from side to side. One more deep breath. Looking forward, walking your hands back out to downward facing dog, and right away coming forward into plank. An option to release your knees and come down as we already have, or to tip forward onto your toes, bend your elbows, come all the way on down onto your belly. Feet hip distance apart again, and this time releasing your arms back beside your side body. We're looking down towards the mat, keeping your head in line with your spine. Palms facing in. Inhale, press down into your feet, lifting your body up, raising your arms up on either side, reaching back to your fingertips, pressing a little deeper into your feet, lifting a little bit more. One more breath. And releasing all the way down, place your hands on stacked palms underneath your forehead and releasing your head down. One more time, bringing your hands back, option to keep them beside your body or to interlace your palms behind your back, interlace your palms, pressing out through your pointer fingers. Inhale, press down into your feet, inhale, push up, lifting your upper body. Fingers are reaching back towards your heels, reaching forward through the crown of your head, no stress and strain into your neck. One more breath, press down, lift a little higher, and exhale, release your hands back down, and release your head to the mat. Placing your hands on either side of your shoulders, pressing back into child's pose. Knees apart, feet together, releasing your pelvis back, reaching forward for 3 breaths. So this posture is child's pose, and it's probably my favorite posture other than, Shavasana. And I want you to return to this posture whenever you need it or simply want it. So you don't need me to cue this posture. This is something that you can do if you want to skip the vinyasa, or you just need a second to catch your breath. Okay, so if your hands are forward, it's going to be a little more dynamic, but if your shoulders are sore, just walk your hands back on either side and release your head to the mat or to a blanket. Inhale, coming back up, sending back up, lifting your hips and going back into downward facing dog. Looking forward, walking or stepping all the way to the front of the mat. Hands to your shins, inhaling to halfway lift, one long line. Exhaling to fold. Feel free to bend your knees. Inhale, arms up. Reach up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. So keeping your eyes closed, pressing down into your feet, pressing the palms of your hands together, broadening through the collarbone, finding all 4 corners of your feet, lifting through the inner arch, contracting the front of your thighs, lengthening your tailbone towards the ground, and setting an intention for your practice today. Releasing your hands, releasing arms up, look up, exhale, forward fold, all the way down. Inhale to halfway lift, exhale to fold. Inhale, all the way back up, look up, exhale, keep going, all the way back down. Keeping your knees nice and bent, releasing your head all the way in forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift, reaching forward, pressing back, exhale to fold. Inhale, all the way back up, reach up, exhale, keep going. 1 full cycle. Inhale to halfway lift, exhale to fold. Inhale, reverse swan, all the way up. Look up, reach up, exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place both your hands on either side of your feet. Reach back with your right foot all the way to the back of your mat. Release your knee to the mat, untuck your toes, and inhale your arms up. Hips and pelvis centering to the front of the mat. Reaching, pressing down into your right knee, reaching up to your left fingertips and your right. Placing your palms together, creating the pointer finger. Pressing down into your knee, reaching up through your fingertips and side bending to your left. So finding the length, using your right knee to press down and lift out of your fingertips. So no crunching. Inhaling to center, exhaling, going to the right. Same thing, lifting out of the fingertips, not dropping down into the floor. Inhaling back to center, releasing your hands back to the mat, pressing down into your hands and bringing your left leg back to plank. Releasing your knees to the mat, all the way down, and finding your version of cobra. So baby cobra with your hands here, cobra with your hands here, or rolling cobra with your hands to the side. So inhale, pressing into your feet, lifting up. Exhale all the way down. Pressing back through tabletop, lifting to downward facing dog. Inhale, your right leg up. Exhale, right foot to right hand, releasing your left knee, and right away, inhaling, sweeping your arms up. So pressing into your knee, reaching up through your fingertips, clasping your hands over top, creating more length. Exhale, side bend to the right. Breathing into your left rib cage. Inhaling to center, exhaling to the left. Inhaling back to center, exhaling your hands down, tuck your back toes, this time springing forward to the front of your mat, coming forward into halfway lift, exhaling to bend, inhale all the way up, all the way, look up, exhale to heart center. Inhale, arms up, exhale to fold, bend your knees, inhale to halfway lift, exhale to fold. Place both hands on either side. Reach back with your right leg to the back of your mat, making sure your feet are on train tracks. So coming into high lunge, inhale, pressing into your feet, coming up, hands on your hips. So option to go back to what we just did with your knee on the mat. Otherwise, coming into high lunge, inhaling your arms up, pressing into your feet, lifting up. So making sure your left knee is tracking forward with your left toes and you're high on your back heel. So your heel should be right over top of your right toe pads. Going a little deeper with the legs, lifting up a little bit more, clasping your hands together over top, palms together, reaching up. Exhale, side bend to the left. Feeling the shake. And if you're really shaky, just walk your feet a little further apart. Inhaling to neutral. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhaling back to neutral. Exhale, place your hands back, walk back into plank, and either releasing your knees to the mat and going down in one long line or tipping forward through chaturanga, all the way down into up dog, or coming up into your version of cobra. Inhaling to come forward. Exhaling to come back. Pressing back and meeting in downward facing dog. Inhaling your right leg up. Exhale, right hand to right foot to right hand. Setting up for high lunge. Inhaling, hands on your hips. Finding your high lunge or your modified crescent lunge. So deepening down into your right knee, being high on your left toes, and inhaling your arms up. So finding the strength in your legs, reaching up with your fingertips, squaring your hips to the front of the mat, palms together, reaching up, exhaling to the left. Finding the side bend, finding the length through the fingertips, staying low in your legs. Inhaling back up, exhaling, going to the right. Inhaling back up to neutral, exhaling, hands back down, stepping back to plank, and going through your vinyasa. And as we talked about before, when you're done with your vinyasa, you can skip it and go right back to downward facing dog, or spend a few moments in your version of child's pose. So 3 breaths. This time taking a deep breath in through your nose, opening your mouth and exhaling. One more. Inhale and exhale. If you're in child's pose, coming back up to downward facing dog. Looking forward, walking or hopping to the front of your mat. Inhaling to halfway lift, exhaling to fold. Inhale, arms up, reach up. Exhale to heart center. And keep going. Inhale, arms up. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, step back. Go through your vinyasa. Meeting in downward facing dog. Pressing back with your hands, bending your knees. Making sure that you're strengthening the line of movement from your fingertips all the way through your sits bones. Inhale your right leg up. Exhale, right foot to right hand, setting up for high lunge on this side. Inhaling, coming back up. Inhale your arms out. So starting to twist, reaching for one more breath. Twisting to the right, we're going to put our right hand back, left leg forward, or left arm forward. Lower body centering to the front of the mat, upper body twisting to the right. Inhaling your arms up. Exhaling, going to the left. Left arm back, right arm forward. Doing your best to keep your lower legs strong. Inhaling back up. Exhaling, twisting to your right. Right arm back, left arm forward. Inhale, both of them up. Exhale, left arm back, right arm forward. Feeling the shake. Inhale, both arms up. Exhaling, bringing both your hands behind your body, clasping your hands, pressing your fingertips back, looking up any amount. Exhaling into humble warrior, hinging at the hips, bringing your right shoulder inside your right knee. Bringing your hands any amount up and over top of your head. Releasing your head. Pressing down firmly into your right foot. Pressing up with your left toes. Feeling the shake. Inhaling, coming back up. Hands up. Exhaling, hands down. Stepping back to plank and either releasing your knees or going through chaturanga. Skipping it all together and meeting in downward facing dog. Saturdays are always meant for strength. That's how I always feel about yoga. When you wake up on a Saturday, even in atypical times, it's the time to remind yourself how strong you are. So make sure you're listening to your own advice as you move through your yoga practice. On one hand, you're being nurturing, and on the other hand, you're also allowing yourself to move forward with your practice and build strength. Inhale your left leg up. Exhale, swing it forward to your left hand, setting up your foundation for high lunge. And inhaling, hands to your hips, bringing your hands up. So taking a moment to just make sure that your lower body is exactly the way it needs to be makes all the difference when you're twisting. So beginning to twist to your left, left arm back, right arm forward. So reaching back through your left fingertips, reaching forward through the right, making sure that your head's stacked over your hips. Inhaling back up. Exhale, twist to the right. Right hand back, left arm forward. Feeling the shake. Inhale. Back up to neutral. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, neutral, last time. Twisting to the right. Opening up, reaching back through your right hand. Back up to neutral. Exhaling, placing your hands behind your back, Clasping fingertips, going back, inhaling, exhaling, reaching back, lifting your chest any amount to the sky. Exhaling, hinging forward to humble warrior. Bringing your left shoulder inside your left leg. Raising your hands over top of your head, any amount. So do your best attacking your left hip, making sure you're not jutting it out too far. Feeling the scissoring action between your legs. One more breath. Inhale, coming back to neutral. Hands up. Exhale, hands down. Step back to plank. Come through your vinyasa. Inhaling for your back bend and exhaling, this time coming back into child's pose. So breathing deep for 5 breaths. Either having your knees apart and your feet together, feeling the breath circulating all the way through the pelvis, or bringing your knees together and your ankles together and feeling the stretch and the opening between your shoulder blades. Two more breaths. Inhale to come up, placing your hands back up for downward dog. Tuck your toes and exhale, bringing your hips towards the back of your mat. Looking forward, inhale, walking or jumping to the front of your mat into halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up, looking up, and exhale to heart center. So setting up for dancers, would it be easier for me to do? No, I think it's easier for me to do this. So we're starting on the right-hand side. So pressing firmly into your left leg, bending your right knee, reaching up with your left hand, up over top of your head, bending your right knee, holding on to your right ankle with your right hand. So pressing down, inhaling to create length, exhaling to tip forward, pressing your right foot into your right hand, hinging forward a small amount, looking forward 3 or 4 feet in front of you, finding that spot that's not moving, opening your back body. 2 more breaths, doing your best to square your hips towards the front of your mat. Inhaling to rise, and exhale, releasing your right leg to the mat. If you're not at the front of your mat, taking a step forward, inhale, arms up, exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, both hands down, step back to plank, release your knees, going all the way through your flow, inhaling into your back bend, exhaling, meeting in downward facing dog. Inhaling your right leg up, stacking your right hip on top of the left, right knee to the ceiling. So pressing equally through both your hands, squaring your upper body to the front of your mat and opening your right hip up to the side. Inhaling to lengthen, exhale, right foot through to right hand. Looking down between your feet, spin your left heel back on a 90-degree angle for warrior 2. And once you have that heel of your right foot in line with the arch of your left foot, I want you to inhale up into warrior 2. So spinning your left arm back, right arm forward. Your right arm is right over top of your right bent knee. Relaxing your shoulders. Gaze is over your right fingertip. Pressing firmly back through the outer edge of your left foot. Bending strongly into your right knee. And making sure your right knee is tracking forward of your second and third toe and not bowing in any amount. 2 more breaths. Calming your breath. Going into reverse warrior, flip your right palm, exhale it back. Pressing into your right knee, reaching up to your right hand, reaching back. Inhale back to warrior two. Straightening your right leg, hinging forward, coming into triangle. Reaching forward as far as you can. When you can't go any further, dropping your right hand down and either catching your right ankle, your right shin, or possibly placing your hand on the block on the outside of your body. So hinging your left hip back, bending forward and inhaling your left arm directly over top of your body. So feeling the length, not just on the left side of your body, but also on your right. So trying not to crunch down, trying to create some length. Feel the power in your legs. You could even let go of your right arm and your body would continue to be where it is. Inhaling back up, bending your right knee. Exhaling, windmilling your left arm forward. Coming back to plank and going through your vinyasa. Meeting in downward facing dog. Two more breaths. Option to stay here or in child's pose, or to continue to move. Inhale your left leg up, stacking your left hip on top of your right, bending your left knee, reaching it towards the ceiling, making sure you're pressing back equally with both of your hands. Feel the opening. Inhale your left leg straight. Exhale, swing your left foot through to your left hand. Spin your back heel down on the 90-degree angle. Heel to arch alignment, and when you're ready, inhaling your arms up, right hand up and back, reaching forward with your left fingertips. So opening your hips to the right side of your mat, bending deeply into your left knee, making sure that you're following any type of alignment that we're supposed to be. So not having your left knee bow in any amount, but have it tracking forward. Aligning your head over top of your hips. So not coming too far forward, not pulling too far back. Letting your warrior two be a bit dynamic, strong and stable through the arms. Reverse your warrior, flip your left palm, reach up and back. Inhaling back to warrior two. Exhaling, straightening your left leg, hinging forward, reaching forward with your left arm, and then releasing your left arm down, taking hold of your left ankle, a block, your pant, and inhaling your right arm up over top of your shoulder. Do your best to keep both legs straight, lengthening through both sides of your body. So pressing down into your feet, reaching up to your right fingertips, feeling the length on both sides of your body, spinning your body open to the right-hand side of your mat. Inhaling, bending your left knee, coming back into warrior two. Exhaling, windmilling your arms down. On either side, step back to plank and go through your vinyasa. Inhaling into your back bend. Exhaling, coming back into child's pose. Bringing your head up. If you have some blocks or you have some tin cans or something that you can use for elevation, coming to sit on your knees. We're going to go into camel. Camel is a gentle or a less gentle, depending on your body's flexibility, extension, opening up of the chest and building strength in our back body. So how we're all going to start is we're going to come up onto our knees, Bringing our pelvis forward, knees are hip distance apart, looking forward, centering our whole body to the front of our mat. So pressing down into the tops of our feet. I prefer to do this one with my feet down, but if you like to have your toes bent and your ankles flexed, that's fine as well. So inhale, bringing your hands to the back of your body, fingertips up, heels of your hands on the back of your pelvis. Spin your elbows backwards so that they're reaching back in line with the long edge of your mat. Inhale, looking forward, exhaling, pressing into your hands and arching back, opening up your chest to the sky. Breathing deep. No need to let your head draw back too far, bringing it where you're most comfortable. So even lifting your eyes to the ceiling, opening your chest, pressing into your hands, hips are coming forward. One more breath. Inhale to come forward, releasing your hands, exhaling, just walking yourself back and letting your hips come all the way back to your heels. Just taking a moment to rest. So as we go forward into 2 more rounds, I have to be honest, I avoid this posture because I find it actually really difficult. I feel the stress in my chest when I do it. So if you feel like that when you do this, I want you to make sure that you keep the range of motion where you're most comfortable. So as we raise up, going back up into the same posture, option to continue what you did, or starting to lengthen it a little bit more. So we're all gonna start with our hands behind. If you're gonna move back even further, I would encourage you to tuck your toes. So placing your fingertips up, option to continue back into doing what we're doing, or when we come back, reaching back and holding on to our ankles or to blocks and pressing our hips forward, expanding to the chest. All right, ready? So finding your version. I always start with my hands in the same posture. Inhaling to start, exhaling, pressing into your hands, broadening through the chest, and reaching back or staying where you are. Finding your heels or a block, pressing your hips forward, expanding your chest towards the sky, looking up or letting your head drop back just a little bit more. 2 more breaths. And whatever posture you're in, when you're ready, come out of it in the exact same position that you did to get into it. And then release back onto your heels. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, untuck your toes. And coming to sit back onto your heels. Placing one hand on your heart and then the other, closing your eyes. Calming your breath. Releasing your hands down, coming back into one more version of camel, whatever version you'd like, or option just to stay exactly where you are, or to come back into rabbit, where we place the crown of our head down and coming up like this. So whatever one you want. I'm gonna go up into camel. So inhaling to come up, I'm gonna tuck my toes, place my hands behind my spine, fingertips up, spin my shoulder blades back, elbows reaching back, inhaling, exhaling, pressing my hips forward, broadening my chest to the sky, reaching back with my hands to the back of my ankles, finding the length, pressing into my hands, lifting my hips. Wherever you are, 2 more breaths. Inhaling to come up, exhaling to sit back. And if you have the capacity and the space and it doesn't irritate your lower back, going forward with your knees together into child's pose. Resting your forehead on the mat or on the blanket, letting your arms come back on either side of your body. Palms up. Inhale to rise. Coming back into downward facing dog, setting up your hands, tucking your toes. Exhaling your hips to the sky. Looking forward, walking your body all the way to the front of the mat. Feet hip distance apart, releasing forward into standing forward fold. Option to hold on to opposite elbows or bring your hands behind the back of your calves and grasp opposite elbows. Bending your knees, raising your pelvis to the sky, crown to the ground. Breathing deep into your back body. Releasing your hands and inhale, reverse swan all the way up. Reach up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Closing your eyes for a moment. Broadening through the collarbones. Palms pressing together, thumbs into the sternum. And releasing your hands down. Setting up for dancers on the other side. Pressing down into your right foot. Bending your left knee. Inhaling your right arm up. Bend your left knee, reach back, hold on to the outside of your left ankle or calf. Press down, reach up with your right fingertips, hinging forward, kicking your left hand, your left ankle into your left hand, hinging forward, kicking more, raising your left knee even more, looking forward a few feet in front of your mat, doing your best to square your hips to the front of the mat for 2 more breaths. Press down, kick a little harder, raise up. Exhale to rise. Release your left leg down. Take a moment. Hands up over top of your head. Look up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Going into a wide leg forward fold. Going sideways on your mat and taking a big step to the left. Looking down so that your toes and your heels are in the same long line. So bringing your hands to your hips, spinning your shoulder blades back, inhaling for length, exhaling, hinging forward at the hips, pressing back to the sits bones, leading forward with the crown. And as you start to go down even further, releasing your crown towards the mat and releasing your hands down between your feet, and walking your hands back any amount between your feet. So adjusting your stance as you see fit. Bending your knees just a little bit if you're the person who has a tendency to hyperextend. Letting it be dynamic. Coming forward on your toes, rocking back a bit on your heels, and finding that center spot of both your feet. See what it feels like to bend your knees a little bit and to tighten the front of both your thighs. See if that changes the distribution of the weight and alters the way you feel the stretch. Breathing deeply into your back body. Walking your hands underneath your face and pressing back up to a halfway lift. Looking forward. Pressing down into your left hand. Inhaling, sweeping your right arm up and over top of your head. Pressing down into your left hand, reaching up with your right. Crown of your head reaching forward, sitting bone reaching back. Breathing deep, feeling the opening all the way up the side body. Exhaling your right hand down, right hand underneath your face. Inhale, spin your left arm up, over top of your head, opening up your rotator cuff, finding the length. And just taking a cruise through your body and making sure you're not translating tension somewhere else. Exhaling your hands back down. Looking forward, turning your right toes out about 15 to 20 degrees, and then your left, and bending into your right knee. Walking your hands a little bit to the right-hand side, and doing your best to pressing back to your tailbone and still reaching forward to the crown. So feeling the length in your left leg, taking a peek down at your right toes, and making sure that your right knee is tracking in line with your right toes. Inhaling back up, walking to the left, bending your left knee, straightening your right. Letting your eyes just look down at your mat or in front of your mat. Making sure that you can feel that your left knee is tracking with your left toes. Moving a little bit more, option to stay low, coming over to the right-hand side, back to the left. And just going back and forth in a nice slow flow. Next time you're at the right, turning your body to the front of your mat, turn your right toes, placing your hands down on either side, pressing into your hands, lifting your right foot back to downward facing dog. Pressing through your hands, bending your knees, lifting your hips to the sky. Inhale your right leg up, coming into pigeon. Exhale, bringing your right knee through to your right hand. Exhale, bringing your body down, walking your left leg back, untucking your toes. So if this is uncomfortable for you, you can go on to figure 4 on your back, which I'll show you in a moment. If you're familiar, you can go ahead and do that. If you're comfortable in this position, go ahead and sitting up nice and tall, walking yourself up in your fingertips, and just taking a peek down and making sure your right knee is outside of your right hip. So your right knee is not tracking fully forward, but is reaching out to the side. It doesn't particularly matter where your right shin is. It's not like in the olden days where I used to say, bring your shin forward to be parallel with the front edge of your mat. If that's comfortable for you, by all means. Doing your best to parallel your hips to the front. Inhale to create some length. Exhale, hinging forward, walking down onto your forearms. Or allowing your body to release all the way down onto stacked hands or a blanket. Spending about 10 breaths in on this side. And if you are in figure 4, just to review that, you'll be on your back, your knees bent like you're going to go into a bridge, heels are fairly close to your sitting bones. Bend your right knee, place your right ankle on top of your left thigh, reaching through, clasping the back of your left thigh, and drawing your left knee towards your chest. Option to gently open up your right knee with your right elbow. Whatever position you're in, just surrendering to wherever you are. And if this feels incredibly tight for your particular physiology, see if you can find 5% more ease. And maybe that means that you back off a little bit. Maybe it means you stay exactly where you are and you just make your breath go in the direction of the tension. Whatever feels good to you. One more breath. Inhale, coming all the way up. And if you're in figure 4, just staying there for one more breath. Walking your hands all the way up, on, right beside your right knee, pressing into your left hand, reaching back, bending your left knee, reaching for the inside of your left ankle, and drawing your left ankle any amount towards your left hip. And if you can't reach it, I totally get that. This works. Just simply flex your left leg and reach back with your left arm. Draw your heads or your gazes forward in whatever position you're in. And if you have hold of your left leg, point your toes and bring your left heel towards your left sitting bone as best you can. One more deep breath. Gently releasing, placing your hands down on either side of your knee. And if you're in figure four, simply switching sides. Otherwise, curling your left toes, pressing into your hands, lifting your right knee, and bringing it back to downward facing dog. Pedaling your feet from side to side. And when you're ready, inhaling your left leg up, exhale, left knee to left wrist. Walk your right leg back, squaring your hips to the front of the mat, coming up nice and tall on your fingertips. So if you need to walk back a little bit more, whatever helps you settle further into your pelvis. And when you're ready, walking yourself forward any amount. Softening your face. Softening your heart. Filling your back body, oxygen as you breathe in and you breathe out. One more breath. Option to stay where you are, or if you're going to come back with me to bring your leg up, you'll walk your hands back up, pressing firmly into your left hand, bend your right knee, and either bend as far as you can, reach back, if you can get a hold of the inside of your right leg, bringing your right heel towards your glute. Option to point your toe and draw it in. Bring your gaze back to the front of your mat. Breathing deeply into the front of your right thigh. 2 more breaths. Releasing your hand, releasing your foot. Pressing down, tucking your right toes and coming back into downward facing dog. Walking your dog, feeling the mobility from side to side. Looking forward, walking forward, bending your knees, and coming to sit on your sitting bones. Spinning your body to face me, and starting out by bringing your legs far apart. So coming into a wide angle, forward fold, pressing your heels out to either side. And this is where you may want to be on the edge of your blanket. So we talked about this before. If you are like 90% of the population that feels tension in your lower back, and this feels like this, it just feels frustrating. You want to keep your chest open as much as possible so that you can oxygenate. So it actually feels like rejuvenating posture, not simply small torture. If you sit on the edge of a blanket or a towel, your hips will start to hedge forward. Flex your feet so you're drawing energy in through your feet. You might be with your fingertips behind you, leading forward with the crown of your head up, your chest leaning forward and inching forward just a couple of inches. Or you might be the person who can inhale for length and exhale, start to walk your body forward any amount. I like to use blocks when I do forward fold. Find your version and allow it to be dynamic. So inhaling for a bit of length coming up, exhaling, hinging forward any amount, tucking your chin so that your chin is in alignment with the rest of your spine. Nice and broad through your collarbones. Flexing your feet, toes to the sky. Inhaling for length, and then exhaling, allowing it to be passive. So rounding through your back body, releasing your head towards the mat. Inhaling, walking your body up. Reaching your legs, bringing them together, and then bringing your soles of your feet together into bound ankle pose. Bringing your heels closer to your sitting bones, allowing your knees to fall out to the side. Hold on to your feet. Inhale for length. Exhaling, hinging forward, allowing your elbows to start to gently press your knees open. Reaching through your crown, pressing back through your sits bones. Inhaling into your back body, exhaling to fold. One more breath. Inhale to come up. Exhale, bringing your knees together and rolling back one vertebrae at a time. So feet planted hip distance apart, option to bring your arms to the side, rolling down one vertebrae at a time, eyes looking forward between your knees, going as slow as you can go. Keep going. Releasing all the way back. When you get all the way down to the bottom, draw your knees into your chest, right knee to your right armpit, left knee to your left armpit. Squeezing your knees in, breathing between your knees, reaching your tailbone to the front of your mat. Coming into happy baby, reaching your hands between your thighs, holding on to the outside of your feet, bending your knees to 90 degrees, pressing your feet into your hands into your feet, and drawing your knees wide, bringing your knees towards your armpits. Feeling the stretch all the way through the groin and the back of the body, back of the legs, and giving it a gentle sway from side to side. Releasing your legs down, squeezing your knees in, bringing your forehead to your knees, squeezing into a small ball. Squeeze, squeeze. Exhaling, bringing your head back to the mat and releasing your feet back down. So a couple options. If you have a block or you have two books or something that will give you some support, option to put your feet up in the center of the room. Very soothing, very relaxing, extremely calming on your nervous system. If you have something that you can lie on, I want you to put it lengthways so that the broad side is on your sacrum. So what you'll do is you'll lie all the way back, you'll press into your feet, bring your block underneath your pelvis. So put it on the widest part of your sacrum, release your hips down, place your palms down on either side and simply bend both knees or one knee at a time and raise your heels to the ceiling. Do your best to have your heels over top of your pelvis. And if you get up in this position and you know you need to move it, then simply just put your hands and your feet back down, adjust it, and bring it back up. Option to bend your elbows and bring both your hands on your belly or your left hand on your heart and your right hand on your belly. So you can spend the last few minutes in Viparita Karani, legs up, letting your nervous system know you can go right into Shavasana if that's what's comfortable for you. Or you can go into Supta Baddha Konasana, which means exactly like we just were. Place your feet like your soles of your feet together. Keep your soles away from your sitting bones. Lie back with your blocks. And either just let your knees fall out to either side, or you can use your blocks on the outside of your thighs to support it. Hands can go palms down on your belly, or you can open up your hands to either side. Last option, putting on a shirt, putting on a pair of socks, covering yourself with a blanket and lying back into Shavasana. Closing your eyes. And then when you've had enough of your legs up, you can place your feet down, remove the block, and come into Shavasana. I'm going to read Just for Now by Dana Falls. Keeping your eyes closed. Just for now, without asking how, let yourself sink into stillness. Just for now, lay down the weight you so patiently bear upon your shoulders. Feel the earth receive you and the infinite expanse of the sky grow even wider as your awareness reaches up to meet it. Just for now, allow a wave of breath to enliven your experience. Breathe out whatever blocks you from the truth. Just for now, be boundless, free, with awakened energy tingling in your hands and feet. Drink in the possibility of being who and what you really are. So fully alive that the world looks different, newly born, and vibrant. Just for now. Drawing your legs straight. Zipping up your legs all the way from your ankles, all the way up. Reaching, pressing out through the balls of your feet. Raising your arms up and over top of your head, palms interlaced. Pressing through the palms, pressing down through the soles of your feet. Inhale, open your mouth and exhale. Deep breath in, pressing through your soles, reaching through your fingertips, and exhale. Bending your knees, rolling onto the right side of your body. Drawing your knees in nice and close to your chest. Cradling your head underneath your right arm. And when you're ready, pressing into your left palm and coming up to sit in cross-legged seated position. Eyes closed. Raising your arms up and over top of your head, looking up, palms together, exhaling to heart center. Interlacing your fingertips, placing both palms over top of your heart, bowing your head. Sending yourself love. Promising yourself that you'll gift yourself what you need, when you need it, how you need it, so that you can be there for yourself and all the people you care about. Releasing your hands, inhaling your arms. One more time, back up over top of your head, palms together. Exhale, releasing into heart center and bowing your head. Namaste. Thank you so much. Oh, another extreme close-up for meeting me on the mat today. So the intention of today was to open your heart. You're welcome, Laura. To open your heart, breathe deeply. Remember how strong you are. You're welcome, Natasha. You're welcome, Krista. Thank you so much for meeting me on the mat today and giving me a reason to show up here today. I love starting my day this day. And believe it or not, one day we will all be able to practice in the same room. I know it's possible. You're welcome, Debbie. You're welcome, Mike. You're welcome, Katie. You're welcome, Kim and Kelly. You have no idea how awesome this is for me, Mara, as well. Finally made a morning class. Yes. Thank you so much, everybody. Go out and create yourself an amazing day. You're welcome, Marian. And I'll see you again soon. Mwah.